evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. Once you have located your seat, we ask you that you please step out of the aisle so the passengers behind you can pass you. This will expedite our boarding process. Your large carry-on items need to go in the overhead compartments. Your smaller ones underneath the seat in front of you, keeping all exits and aisles clear. If you need assistance, please contact the flight attendant.
Ni dengar tak? Mic test 1 2. Testing mic 1 2 3 4. Mic test 1 2. Ada? Can you hear my voice? Oh ada. Okay. Alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, in preparation for departure, please check to see that your seatbelts are securely fastened, your window shades are open, seat backs are in the upright and locked position, your tray tables have been put away, all your carry-on items are securely stowed. Underneath the seat in front of you, not blocking yours or your neighbor's exit to the main aisle. All electronic devices, anything with an on and off switch, needs to be powered off, and that includes cellular phones. Thank you. Test mic 1 2. Testing mic 1 2 3 4. Mic test 1 2. Is my audio test 1 2. Test 1 2 3 4.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good evening. Apa khabar semua? I tak tahu ada orang online ke tak. I'm really not checking my YouTube mana ni. I know my wife is online kat luar tu tengah oh, ada orang. Oh, nice. They are those who are online. So, thank you to each and every one of you who's online, who's willing to spend your Thursday nights with me tonight. I'm unsure if have me alhamdulillah saya ada juga orang teman. Thank you for menemani me tonight. Apa tadi aku nak cakap tadi? Okay, alright. So I haven't been live streaming for quite some time, so I'm still not getting a hang of it. There is a reason why I live stream. Okay, I think let me start with that. Maybe I'll start with that. Let's to just remove some nerves. I'll start with that. Right. So the initial idea, the concept was that I wanted to be online. I wanted to make videos. Right. I wanted to post them on YouTube. Cuma the issue was that first I don't like to record videos. I don't like. Mainly because it's a work hazard. I think so. I deal with videos almost every day. Have to edit videos almost every day. So the thought of me having to sit or stand in front of the camera and then having to record and then having to edit, right? Everything. I don't find that, I think, pleasurable. I don't find any enjoyment in editing and recording videos, right? So and on top of that, I think the worst part is I do not like to be scripted. I don't know, because I tried before. I've recorded videos before. Cuma the problem is that I don't like scripted, right? So for me, being being live stream is something I think a bit more comfortable. So just take it as it is. There's no script. You're going to have a lot of pauses. Like you see a time where I lost my train of thought and then buat bersama dengan benda lain and then apa kan. And to be honest, I like the casualness of being live or being on the live stream platform. Halim dengan Lin, korang join me Monday, Tuesday, sini pun nak join. By the way, Lin, I'm going to answer your question. So I have your question here. Initially I wanted to make you anonymous. Saya cakap pula nama dia. So tak apalah. So stay tuned. If you could bear, if anyone could bear with me until the end, inshallah I will answer your question. Right? So Lin ada question. So I'll address her question at the end. The so-called Q&A session. Right? So those who send me messages on Instagram, so I'll answer a question. So kalau boleh tahan sampai the end lah. I try my very best not to be lengthy, but nampak ni macam ada possibility because it's live stream, right? So on top of that, speaking about live streaming, initially I wanted to do a podcast. Macam saja je kata-kata lah buat podcast. But itulah, podcast like that, I would say intimacy or that, because I'm speaking to, I'm assuming that I'm speaking to people here. Ada orang, right? So I'm speaking to like 9 orang online. So as though I'm speaking to you. Right, we have that. But the irony to that is people kalau dengar podcast, they do it passively, kan? Diorang tengah buat kerja and then so I'm trying to merge between traditional YouTube video formats with live streaming format with podcast. So it's like a video live stream podcast. So I want to do that. I plan to do that. I'm quite serious. Serious in the sense that macam dulu nak buat, tak nak buat. Tak nak buat tak apa. But now I think I'm trying my very best to be consistent and try to live stream weekly. Okay, and then put the video on YouTube. Siapa nak tengok, tak apalah. Right, so that is the idea. Okay, so having said that, right, so please chill, relax. I'm telling myself, right, because I'm used to being macam a lecture format, right, being serious. So I'm trying to relax myself, try not to be too lectury. Right, see it as just a traditional standard YouTube video that I just want to share. I have ideas, I have opinions, I have things that I think might benefit and be of value to some of you. So I'll just put it out there, right? And if you enjoy, Alhamdulillah. Kalau tak pun, Alhamdulillah, right? It's just something that I feel I wanted to do, right? I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. So in the nature of being chill, I bawa makan. So I have biskut, right? So that I told my wife I need something to eat. I need something to munch, right? So that it is giving the perception that I'm not being serious, and this is very relaxed. This is very casual, right? Nothing serious. This is not a lecture. So what I'll do is I'll eat during the live stream. Okay, macam mukbang macam gitu. Jadi mukbang. Bukanlah mukbang sangat lah, but so the why I want to eat is so that just to give the impression. Waffle ada kat sini. Waffle jangan kacau lah. To give, nanti Waffle tadi dia jilat my cookies. Okay, so to give the impression, as I was saying, to give the impression that I am relaxed and this is casual, nothing serious. Okay, alright, thank you. Okay, so kalau boleh stay till the end lah. InsyaAllah, I try tak nak letak lah sampai 2 jam. Right, it's not going to be 2 hours. Right, I'll try my very best to make it under 1 hour. Maybe less, right? Okay, right. So part and parcel of this live streaming thingy pun, if possible, I take questions. I have, in all honesty, dia bukan macam every day people ask me questions. I do have questions here and there. I still have questions that people ask me related to tech or related to watches or other things that people ask me related to videography or photography online. And maybe this is a good platform I could share. I in all honesty, I know I'm not the best person to do so. I know this very well, and there are better resources out there. But I think, as I said before, there might be certain things that I could share, I could give of value. Speaking of tadi tech and stuff, in all honesty, the live streams, I have no theme. Yeah, terus terang. I have no specific theme. Initially, I wanted to do about watches, but I have a sense of imposter syndrome. There is a hint or a tint of imposter syndrome in me, so I don't feel that I want to talk about it extensively. Initially, I want to talk about tech generally, creativity generally, videography, photography generally. I wanted to talk about current affairs. Banyak lah. I mean, but every single issue that I wish I could talk about, I don't feel that I am the best person to speak about it. And because of that, I'm not going to limit myself to one topic as of now. I just wanted to share and see how it goes, right? And see how it goes. Okay, so for tonight, right, without further ado, kan, I pun tak nak kelakabut. Kalau kabut nanti dapat macam serious. Without further ado, I just wanted to talk about the topic as you could see, the title of the live stream is that Apple Watch Ultra, Orangegate, and Seiko for ladies. Right, so that will be the main topic. So I want to open by let's speak about the Apple Watch dulu. Let's begin with that. Okay. Oh, boleh. Alright, this works. Okay, let me make myself slightly bigger here. Alright. Okay. Nice. Let's talk about the Apple Watch. Now, dah start makan. Let's makan dulu. Now, this is not a review in any mean shape or form of the Apple Watch. I mean, to do a review, I have to own the Apple Watch Ultra. I have an Apple Watch. This is the SE. I think last year punya model. I think this is the last year punya SE. Alright. Can you focus? Oh yeah, I can focus. Right. We'll talk about it nanti. So I am in no position to make any review or comments with regards to the Apple Watch Ultra. But I do have some observations. I think that's a proper word. Observations. Dia bukan criticism. It's not a review. It's not opinions. It's just observations with regards to the Apple Watch, especially from a perspective of a watch enthusiast. Right. So as a person who enjoys watches, who collects watches, looking at the Apple Watch, I have a few observations. I just want to point out two dulu. Just two observations that I'm going to make tonight I'm going to share with all of you tonight and see how the conversation goes. I nak check online je, ada orang tak online? Ada 13 orang. Dekat YouTube tak boleh tengok siapa online kan? I mean, you cannot check. I mean, I'm used to doing Zoom meetings and stuff, and you could see who is online. And you could say, apa khabar, gini kan. But on YouTube, I cannot see who is online. I just see ada 12 concurrent views, which is awesome. Right? I prefer, honestly, I prefer tak ada orang. I was hoping nobody's going to be online. Maybe most probably my wife je. So I'm going to have like a one-on-one talk or chat with her. Dia kat luar. She's in the hall. I'm here. Right. So I was I was planning. Should I record this? I should record this. I didn't record this. Tapi it will be automatically on YouTube. Tak apalah. Next time I record. I want to record because I want to edit the audio. Lupa pula. See? Dah lupa. Right. So I was hoping no need lah. I nak record so I could edit the audio. Lepas tu I'll upload and then put timestamps or whatever it is. So but tak apalah. Okay lah. Never mind. Initially I was assuming tak ada orang. I hope tak ada orang. I just berbual. It's like a recording. But ada orang, okay lah. So you could say hi dekat chat. Apa khabar? How are you? And then I could know who's online. That would be awesome. Tapi tak maulah. Right. Malu pula because takut ada siapa-siapa kat datang kan. And datang then dia maybe the watch enthusiast ke, the watch expert ke, horologist ke. Then whatever I say salah ke, I say juga. Okay, right. Okay, watch Apple Watch Ultra. Now two things. Number one. Okay. Number one is about the size. Right? The size. Okay. Diana ada. Mesti itulah. Thank you for joining. Ada. She's a okay. From what I know, from what I know personally from Diana, I know what offer Diana. Dia is researcher. I'm going to present some. Ketawa tu. I'm going to present some scientific research and evidences later about colour. So dia I paiseh ni malu whenever there's someone an academician online and then takut if I say something wrong which is not academically correct, right? But nevertheless, right, just wanted to like put this out there before we continue. I'm going to share a lot of articles with regards to certain scientific findings and researches to prove a few points I have to say with regards to this watch. Okay, so first let's talk about the size. Now, to preface, I have nothing against huge watches. Okay, I have nothing against huge watches. For me, it's all about preference. If you like big watches, right, it's fine. And the Apple Watch Ultra is, I would say, this is not subjectively, or this is objectively, it's a large watch. It's 49 millimeters now in diameter. 49. Let's look at some pictures now. This picture, this specific image, this image bothers me a bit. This is going to be the part of the joke or be the gist of our so-called discussion tonight. The size, I'm okay because speaking about 49. Okay, so it is mentioned in the website that the size of the Apple Watch Ultra is 49 millimeters. Let me see if it is mentioned here. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Do they place it in their? They should, right? They should mention this in their website. Oh, banyak betul information dia. Oh, so much information. I mean, in all honesty, it is an awesome piece of tech. Hands down. I mean, I'm not saying it is the best smartwatch, but for what it is, I think it should be amazing, right? It should be powerful. It should fit the needs of those who require it in extreme circumstances. Alright, it's why is it, man? It should be here. It's 49 millimeters. Come on. Should I press buy? Do you just press buy? I'm not buying. It's not mentioned here. Usually they state the size. Oh, macam gini lah. Gini yang Apple Watch biasa dia letak, right? So this is 599, it's 379. The prices are mentioned here. But for the Apple Watch Ultra, it should be within the specific details, right? It should mention there, but they didn't put it like straight in your face. There, 49. Kat sini tak nampak. 49mm titanium case. Now, so this is just sharing, right? People need to know. I mean, generally people need to understand when you look at watches or you intend to buy a watch. Why does a digital watch has a crown? Okay, I'll talk about that. It's a very interesting question from, I think, Hafiz, right? It's Hafiz here. There is a reason why digital watches they have a a crown. This is basically a crown. So this is my SKX 003, right? So this is the crown, right? So this is the function where you turn. Right, you turn the crown. You turn the crown to set then adjust the time, and these are called crown guards. In relation to Hafiz's question here, that there is also crown guards. So for the crown, so this is the crown, right? And if you look at it from a top view, right? So it is protected from the sides. Here on the sides and the left, this is the right and left. So those are called crown guards. So not only does it has a crown, it also has crown guards. And crown guards are quite synonymous with dive watches. And this is a dive watch. Now, the reason why, in watches, you have crown generally to adjust the time, to set the time, the date, and other complications. For the Apple Watch, I mean, I own an Apple Watch, so it's used to set stuff. Right, you could change the timing, change the alarm, a lot of things. To say it is it a gimmick? Is it or maybe Apple is trying their very best to mimic a watch? There is a term in graphics. Johnny Ive, who used to work at Apple, used that term a lot. It is a word used to describe things which are digital, things which are solid objects, inanimate objects, but then in digital form. I forgot the term. Nevertheless, maybe it is their attempt to try to make a digital watch look like or have a feel of a traditional mechanical watch. I think that is the reason why. Is it functional? I use it. Maybe it works. You could scroll it using your fingers. But okay, in all honesty, for the Apple Watch Ultra, it actually is quite functional, because from the promotional videos that I watch, people who use gloves, right? Those who are mountaineers, or maybe those who do extreme sports, those who go diving with wetsuits. I think it's easier to use a crown, right, to adjust, right, and rather than maybe just to push buttons. Well, I think that's the main point, right? So that is why they have. So it's not only do they have crowns, they have crown guards, which is quite fascinating, right? My point. Okay, so going back to the size, as I said before, there are things that I think generally people need to. I mean, watch enthusiasts know there are things that we need to understand with regards to watches. Okay, so talking about size, there are things that we need to understand. Okay, so this is a good article from Gear Patrol regarding the Apple Watch, comparing the Apple Watch Ultra. Okay, so what do you mean? So the question is this: what do you mean by 49mm? Right, so is it diagonally? Right, is it the diameter or the radius of the watch, or is it no? So is there any other measurement? So I think Gear Patrol is a good entry level explanation to how do you measure watches, the size of the dials, the size of the watches. So here they compare to a Rolex SUP. Semalam I watched a video. Okay, you know why I like being on YouTube, or why I like to do this? I spend 90% of my, okay, that is exaggeration. 90%. I spend most of my time on YouTube. I watch so many videos on YouTube. Instagram is just, I do not consume content much on Instagram. In fact, for me, Instagram, I like to post. I just share pictures, just tengok, and then I just like people in your posts. I don't consume much content on Instagram. I consume a lot of content on YouTube. Because I watch too much YouTube, I feel that there are a lot of things that I wanted to share via watching YouTube, a lot of articles and videos lah. So semalam I watched a video. They argued about how to pronounce this word. Is it Submariner? Okay, or is it Rolex Submariner, or is it a Submariner? Submariner or Submariner? Right, so there was an argument online, and in the end they posted a video from Rolex themselves. Rolex posted a video about their particular watch, and they call it Submariner. Okay, so they compared the Apple Watch Ultra to a Submariner, and this is the worst compare. I mean, I'm not saying worst. I'm saying there are better options to compare. I mean, you could compare with a Deep Sea. I think a Deep Sea has better proportion. I mean, there's a bigger proportion. The Submariner is not a big watch at all. Submariner has a 40mm. I'm starting to use measurements, right? 40mm diameter. It's almost the size as this. This is a 40. I have a 40mm watch. Oh, this is a 40mm watch. This is my SPB143. This is a Seiko reissue of their vintage and one of the earliest first ever dive watches by Seiko. And this is 40mm. I don't know how you could measure watches online or give you like proportions relative to distance and what we have now, but nevertheless this is 40mm and it's not a big watch. They should use a Deep Sea or Sea Dweller, right? Never mind. But you know a G-Shock is a big watch, right? So they claim that the Apple Watch Ultra is bigger than a Submariner and a G-Shock. Now how do you measure? Okay, so this is a good part. Let's start with this, right? So you see, if you want a quick reference, okay, 49mm, right? So this is not the point. The crown kat side. Okay, how do you apa ni keluar ni? Get away. Why are you here? Not supposed to be here. Shoe. Oh no, I don't want to buy this thing. Tu salah picit lah. Oh, engagement rings. I don't have a ring, by the way. I always ask my wife. I always wanted her to buy me a ring. I don't have any rings. What? Every time she wants to buy me a ring, I say tak nak lah, buang duit lah. I don't wear rings. Okay, so the 49mm here is the measurement. How they measure, where do they measure, is what generally watch experts or watchmakers or even enthusiasts refer to as ni lug to lug. Okay, this is the term, lug to lug. Right, so what is a lug? Okay, before you continue, this is a lug. If you can see my pointer, this is a lug. I think you should know lah. Those yang pakai jam should be so. If you're not familiar, okay, this is just a brief introduction to what is a lug. So this is a lug. So a lug is generally a place or the point where your straps, right, are held. So there are two lah, 1 and 2, right? And when they say lug width, they are referring to the distance between the two lugs. This is lug width. So generally watches have 20mm, so usually in even increments, 16, 18, 20, 22, and they are the odd even. I'm looking at you, Orient, the old Bambino with 21, some have 19, sama dengan Seiko, the Grand Seiko with 19, 21, really weird lug with, so stick to even 20. Now lug to lug is the lug from one end to the other end, so not adjacent or opposite, is the edge, is the other. GS lah tadi, GS, right? Thank you, Shah is here, yes. Grand Seiko has weird lug waves. I don't know why. I don't understand. Stop it with weird lug waves. Right, stop it. Right, so this is lug to lug, right? So this is lug to lug. So one end to another end, right? So assuming that, and this is what I think people are saying, 49mm for the Apple Watch Ultra is lug to lug. So this is Speedmaster. I thought this is a moon swatch. Oh, yuck. Why do I take this out? My watch snob punya side dah keluar. The snobbery dah keluar. I dislike this watch. I really hate this watch. Sorry. My brother owns this watch. He likes his moon's watch. Okay, where was I? Sorry. Okay, tak boleh. Have to be humble. Okay, when you talk about watches, you have to be humble. All watches were created equal. Okay. So this is lug to lug, right? No snobbery. Yes. So lug to lug. So when you look at the Apple Watch Ultra, it's 49, meaning lug to lug. The problem with the Apple Watch Ultra, I'm going to refer as Ultra as for now. Apple Watch Ultra panjang sekarang. The Ultra. This is what I'm going to say nanti lah. Is dia tak ada lug to lug per se. So if you say it is 49mm, are they measuring the case? So meaning from this point, or I would say the furthest point out, this point, all the way to this point, or when they say lug, they are referring to this. So I've read a lot of articles online. They say that 49 is actually the case, not including the lugs per se, or these so-called lugs, right? So it's bigger, right, in size. So it's bigger than what they state online, right? So 49 millimeters, right, is not good. And if you look at what they say here, for example, Submariner is 47.6. If you look at the old SKX, this is a modern Seiko 5 Superman SKX. It's around 45 millimeters. We'll talk about that soon, right? So what they're trying to say is like the Apple Watch or the Ultra is relatively big. Now I'll tell you why later on. Yeah, but I just like this. So this is good. This is a good, I would say, starting point if you were to know how a watch should fit, because the lug to lug is actually the height, right? So let's read here. It says it's a matter of taste. I agree. I start with that. It's a matter of taste, but there are rules. Okay, there are rules and limitations that people need to, I would say, abide by, or at the very least understand. Right? If you could understand the rules, then if you want to break it, right, go on. Right? But at the very least, understand how things work first, and then proceed to try to be creative, find loopholes, or break the mold. Right? So here it says it's a matter of taste. It's a matter of taste, but also dimensions and practicality. Right, dimensions dah cakap tadi. I agree the practicality. The Apple Watch, it needs to be big because of the practicality. I mean, the battery, okay, you need a bigger case to house the bigger battery. The ruggedness, especially the flat dial, the crystal, which I believe it's with sapphire. Right, it's flat so that it doesn't crack. Okay, because of its, again, usage. Nevertheless, right, if the watch's silhouette, if the watch's silhouette, when it says silhouette here, I'm looking from lug to lug, right? The height of it extends beyond that of your wrist, it's probably too big. And this is the standard. And this is, I'm talking about rules and regulations. I believe this is where it should be. Now, you could tak kisah. To say, yeah, aku tak kisah, aku suka dia if it overhangs, tak apa. But the rule is, how do you know a watch fits well, is that it should fit right in between your wrists. It should fit right in between your wrists. It should not overhang. Okay? So traditionally, watch companies only give you width measurements. So width measurements is the diameter of the dial, not lug to lug. So you have to find. While Apple offers the case's length, because again, square watches a bit weird skate, because you cannot measure the diameter of square watches or rectangular watches. It's seldom people do that. They do. Nanti kita check JLC and Cartier. They do, but because traditionally watches are round, people give you the diameter of the dial rather than lug to lug or the height, right? So frankly, Apple's approach is far more useful and is the measurement that will best indicate how well a watch will fit your wrist. This is true, meaning how it overhangs. So for example, if you look at pictures, this is pictures yang kat sini ni, and this is a good example of a watch that overhangs. This is what I mean when the lug to lug width, or the length of the lug to lug, it is bigger, okay, or longer than the size of your diameter of your wrist. This happens a lot with Apple Watch Ultra. This is what I see. Now, this is one of the problems. There is a way around it actually. And this is what I want to talk about. Okay, so the statement problem here is that yes, there are watches that are big. Okay, but big watches are wearable. Okay, we'll give some examples. The problem with Apple Watches, I believe, lies in the design. Right, so this is what is going to happen. Now, for some people, if they feel that, oh, tak boleh lah, it's so big, it's going to overhang. It's going to, as though, float above my wrist, I say then don't. Right, but my gripe is that Apple should have done better with their designs. Okay, let's look at this video. Siapa daripada MKBHD? In all honesty, he made a very good observation here. So let me check from which. I think it's 428. 428. I'm unsure if you could listen to the video. Can you hear the audio?
Skinny wrist looks big. But then also,
can you hear the audio? Right? I think my audio can. Boleh kan? I can share my audio with you, right? Not just the video kan? Okay, so let's look at this part where he speaks about. Yeah, can you? Okay, good. Hidayah pun ada. Okay, good. Oh, Sabrina pun ada. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Yo, berapa minit ni? Macam banyak kita belum berbual ni. Okay, let's watch this video and see what he says with regards to the watch size, shape, okay, and how it plays on your hand.
2, this shape. See, like this is a big watch to me, someone who
Okay, dia gambar dia tak nak gerak-gerak pula. Is it because I'm like...
gnarly after a while, so I get it.
Is it because my computer is handling too much? So let's try to lower down the resolution. Dia macam my video capture card is...
gnarly after a while, so I get it.
Tak boleh. Let's try to make it lower. 720. Make it smaller.
Gnarly after a while, so I get it. Maybe they could...
Tak boleh The video... Oh, I have too many videos. Okay, I think my video card is... I'll listen to what he says and then maybe I just show you the video. What habis that video dia? Rewind.
stuff, but actually reached out and heard direct world of this taper.
Okay, tak apa. I cannot play the video. Why? Am I opening too much tabs? So I have a lot of things on my computer, by the way. Okay, tak apa. Okay, he says, okay, based on what okay, he shares examples of watches which are bigger than the Apple Watch Ultra. Too many tabs. Yeah, it's too many tabs. I refreshed banyak video and not as tabs. I have a lot of macam banyak sangat things going on. I don't know if my takut dia tiba-tiba crash.
Look compact.
Yeah. Even if I lower the resolution, I should lower my resolution. Yeah, because I think I'm streaming in QHD. I think it's 1440p. I am streaming in 4040p. Let's try to match.
Look compact.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Sembarang ni aku. Apa sajalah. What if we go like old school?
Look compact.
Okay, tak boleh. Alright. Okay, what is it? So, sorry. I'm just amused by my own self. Okay, so what he's trying to say is there are watches, this is a good example, that is bigger than the Ultra. But he says it looks much more compact. Okay, much more compact. And he says it's about the shape of the watch. Shape of the watch. And he proceeds to show this. And then this is the watch. Look, okay, this is a good example, a very good example of how a large watch should actually be designed. So that was him. He says that there are other watches, and there are Garmin's, most I would say endurance sports computer watches. We haven't spoke about, if you want to talk about Richard Milles or Hublots or the Royal Oaks and other huge watches. We haven't reached that level, but he says that there are other watches which are bigger. Right, and I'll show you some of the watches. But he says the watches are compact. Now, this is a good example. So I honestly, I don't know, but I really appreciate MKBHD punya his approach to this particular issue by showing this particular example. Now, notice something interesting about the lugs. Right, the lugs are connected to the case, and I'm not sure if there is a particular word that watchmakers use. Is that the lugs curved? There is a down curve, or they call it a down lug. The lug curves to give the impression that it hugs your wrist. Okay? So it's not a straight case. Okay, the case is not straight. As much as you see, there is a level where it is straight, but towards the end, there is a dramatic and drastic curve at the end. And watchmakers love this. Okay, they use this for one simple reason. They use this so that it gives, again, the visual impression that it hugs your wrist. It is a part of your wrist. It doesn't float or sit on your wrist, as per what we shown here. Okay, ada gambar tepi-tepi tak? Right. Then from the side, you could see that it literally floats. And this is a good example. And this has been used by I mean, if those of you who know Seikos, right, this is Seiko Tuna. And this is the Marine Master Tuna, 49mm diameter. But look at the lug to lug. Ni. it is weird that you could fit a 40mm lug to lug in a 49mm case, simply because the lugs, it doesn't outstretch above the case, it sits under the case. And if you look at the example of other tunas, so these are Seiko tunas. Seiko tunas are relatively big. You go from 49 to 70. The baby tunas, I think, is 43 or 42. Right? So they are huge watches. But even the ones with the lug, see, it kind of curves down. So it gives the impression that you are hugging. So I'll give you some examples. This is, okay, if you want to talk about one of the most beautiful curves, it sounds really wrong, on a watch, right? Curves or shapes of a watch. And this is the SARB, a SUP250. For me personally, can it? Oh, it's not focusing on. It's still on my face. Focus. I cannot focus. I should do a manual focus rather than using autofocus. Ni lah benda-benda technical tak nak check awal-awal. Right? Because I never shown stuff online. But if I, let's see, can you see it? Can you focus on this? Focus. No. Focus. Okay, cover my face. Yes. Cover my face. You see that? Curve? That curve? And this is a small watch. This is a 38mm. I believe it's a 38. Right? 38mm. It doesn't need a curve. It doesn't need those curved lugs at the end. But Seiko made it a point in their design. That's why Seiko has one of the nicest cases. They made it a point that they make it curve towards the end again to give the impression that it hugs your wrist. So it is something that I believe, let's go back to screen 30, right, that you see in most designs, that the curve at the end creates the impression that it is supposed to hug your wrist. That gives the impression that the watch is compact, right? It doesn't hang, right? So if you want to look at other articles, why the Seiko Tuna, which one I shared tadi, wears so well even on smaller wrists. This is a 47mm watch. It's a huge watch, but even the smaller wrist, it wears well simply because of the lug to lug, right? Not just the lug to lug, as I mentioned tadi lah. It curves really beautifully around your wrist. Now, one thing I could add to this is it's easy with circle or round watches, round dials, with rectangular watches. So what I'm trying to say is round dials. So if let's say if you look at the pixels, I think Pixel Watch keluarkan baru, Pixel Watch 7, I think. If round dials, okay, the way for it to have a compact, more I would say aesthetic pleasing looking watch, it's lug to lug, maintain a short lug to lug. There are certain watchmakers that they sengaja purposely make longer lugs, again for aesthetic reasons, but still they maintain the proportions well. But one, as I said before, shorter lug to lugs, and number two, curved or down lugs to give the impression of hugging. But square watch. So this is an example of a straight lug in a round watch. This is a Steinhardt. I own a Steinhardt before. I sold it because I hate straight lugs. So this is a normal size watch, round dial, circular dial, but with straight lugs. And there is a forum. So this forum is all about straight lugs, right? Especially in the Steinhardt. I own a Steinhardt Ocean 1 GMT. Sold it dah lama dah. That 3 years ago. Itu tak menyesal sangat. So it's straight lugs. So people complain because straight lugs, it doesn't sit well, except for one thing, except for vintage watches. Vintage watches, old school watches have straight lugs. And I think the history of it is that people begin to realize that straight lugs are not aesthetically pleasing since they begin to curve the lugs. But if you look at old school, even Submariners, really old vintage watches with slightly bigger proportions, especially dive watches, usually have straight lugs. I think Steinhardt decided to use this for the vintage feel, the vintage aesthetics, hence they wanted to keep that particular size. Now, square watches, right? So Crown watches, very best is you must try very best to have a curve. Look for curve lugs. Mostly now modern watches banyak curve. And short lug to lug, what a way to look at it. But square watches or rectangular watches usually have straight lugs. And this is another example. This is a straight lug. Look at how straight the thing is. Okay. Oh, now I know how to work the camera. This is as straight as a knife. Right? And this is a rectangular watch. So rectangular watches usually have straight lugs, but here's the thing. They are made to be quite dainty. A good example is the famous Cartier tank. This is an homage to the Cartier tank, Seiko. They call it Seiko tank. I'll show this. I'll share this later. Right? But if you notice something interesting, and this is again even with square watches, because I'm talking about square watch. Generally the Apple Watch Ultra or Apple watches in general are square watches. If they exceed a certain lug to lug, you will notice something interesting, that they also have curved lugs, even for square watches. Right? Okay. The reverso. I own a reverso. I sold my reverso. Kalau ada jam yang I betul-betul menyesal jual, is my reverso. So yeah. Just a gorgeous watch with an amazing history. I cannot speak with my mouth full. Yeah. So just like admire how beautiful this watch is. Rectangular watch with down curved lugs. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Right? Why? Because you said square watches play straight, because they're dainty. This is okay. Modern GLC reversos, even modern Cartier tanks, the new ones, Cartier Santos'Seiko, those are popular rectangular watches. They have large sizes. They do macam L and then XL, medium and large. So they have sizes for their watches now. So if you look at their large sizes, they need to have the down curve, so that if the watch extends beyond what is necessary, beyond what is pleasing, then it still looks pleasing. Case in hand, Richard Mille. Don't ask me what is your opinion on Richard Mille. When it comes to technology, the mechanics, materials that they use, top notch. So they're expensive. Right? They are 500,000, 600,000 watches. When you ask me, are they aesthetically pleasing? Do they look nice? I say no, they are ugly. Seriously ugly. Lupa. I'm sure Siti pakai baju. Dia pakai Hublot. I think Siti wore Hublot. Ni kalau if you watch, I mean there is a running gag, a running joke within the watch punya community that everybody hates Hublot. Yeah, case in hand. Everybody hates Hublot. Siti pakai Hublot. And Hublot dia colour merah, and then like colour tak kena dengan baju. I don't I mean say even if you have, when you say kalau recommend kau orang boleh beli pun, benda ni mahal gila. Right? But my point is not how ugly it is, or it is. It curves. Look at this. It curves. It's huge. But because of that curve, it fits nicely. Right. So where am I? Okay. So my first point. This is what I highly recommend. I'm okay with pretty. If you say it's pretty, fine. I'm just saying that there are certain rules and regulations. There are certain design elements that people try their very best to adhere so that it looks prettier. Prettier. And then yes, mahal tak sebenarnya cantik. We in talking about watches, and in the watch world, that is a lot. And usually people like gaudy watches. People tend to gravitate towards that, especially if the watch is expensive. That seems to be the trend. Oh, why do you like Richard Mille? Abang-abang like Richard Mille. This is not saying that abang-abang semua pakai Richard Mille lah, but you see a lot of abang-abang mesti Richard Mille. jam-jam ni. Financial advisor mesti Rolex. You know, I pernah bukan marah lah. So I have a friend use that. I hope he's not here. Tak ada ke 10 orang dia, okay. Dia use that. Dia financial advisor. So he went for a course. So he's a certified financial advisor. And he once showed, dia pernah tunjuk dekat dia punya course. Right, so they have to attend to a course. And in the course, they spoke about Rolex watches and how Rolex watches retain value. So buy Rolex watches as investment. So I saw it was again my academic side in me. I just kasih lah dia post kat group chat. You tengah belajar ni beli jam Rolex, because jam Rolex they have investment, the whole value, whatever it is. I just give articles after articles after articles about the Rolex bubble, that the prices are conflating, you're losing, blah 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 blah. Gini lah. So I was hurt. I'll talk about Rolex nanti bit. I wasn't hurt about the Rolex per se. I was hurt just for them is if I am a financial advisor, for me to show that I am a successful financial advisor, I must wear a Rolex. For them is expensive status. They are far better watches with far better value than Rolex. I mean, you could get that with the amount that you pay for Rolex, you can get a better watch, right? Don't ask me what watches lah now. I mean, yeah. Tank'Seiko is very long, but it has a curve, right? This the Sintry, and there's another one today I'll show on the website. It's another version where it's not the Basculante. It's another one. They're a bit elongated. Yeah. It's not I think. Yeah. So it's a shape. So what I'm trying to say here, is that, right? It's possible to have huge watches, big watches, right? But you have to be aware. Yes, the American. Yes, the Tank American. It's longer. It's a longer shape. Until you could Google it up, right? For me, we have to stick to a certain design element. That's it. I'm not saying that Apple has bad design elements. Tu Willy dengan Syah dah kat situ. Korang jangan gaduh sudah. Tahu. I don't know how Willy. Tahu Willy do you support Syah punya his spending. I don't want to start a family feud here. Okay, what was I? Okay, all I was saying is I'm not saying that Apple does not do research. I'm not saying that they do not do. But what I wanted to say, is that I just wished, this is just my, so if Apple, if you're watching, I always wanted to say that, they are not watching, who watches this, right? If you are watching, let me recommend, right? Instead of your lugs protruding out here, I recommend that you curve the ends of your case, where it meets your lugs. Just curve this end. Do not make it straight. Do not create a straight case. Do not do this. Just make a slight curve at the end, and then you put your lugs down there. I don't know if this is a lug. I don't know. Just put your lugs there. Just at the curve. A slight, subtle, right? Very subtle, right? Just smooth. A simple, non-obtrusive, nothing too flashy. Just a simple curve at the end. And I believe it would look so much better. Okay, right? So that's my point. Observation. It's not a rant. It's not a criticism. Okay, it's just an observation. Number one is their size, and I offered the way how they could solve it. Okay, just create a curve. This, as much as this is an SKX inspired punya case. This is the Superman, the new SK, the 5KX GMT. Look at how, so the punya this is an aftermarket rubber bracelet. Okay, I'm trying to focus on my hands. Yes, right, and it has a natural curve. See that curve? Yeah, I just want that. Yeah, it would help. Kalau tak nak ikut Apple, kalau ada siapa-siapa ke Tim Cook ke Tim Bake ke, if you want a new product designer ke watch designer, I'm open. If you want me, yeah, I like to design watches. I could design the next Apple Watch Ultra 2, right, with curved lugs. And I'm going to make this statement now. Ada possibility the near future they're going to make a curved lug. That might not be next year, might be 2 years, 5 years. They're going to do it. I have a feeling they are going to do that. Okay, that's my first observation. Second observation. Ini weird sikit. Tadi, my wife refers to her as Kak Diana. But I cannot call her Kak Diana. I think she's my age. Think so. Right. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, typical of Apple. I guess it's typical of Apple. They should do more research. Okay. This is another point. So that's my first point. That's my first observation. My second observation. Okay, ini yang Kak D tak tahu if my wife panggil dia Kak D. I don't know if I should call her Kak. But this is where I find another interesting observation. So this is my final observation regarding the Apple Watch Ultra, is the orange accent. I don't anyhow call orang kakak. I used to call everyone kakak. My wife knows that. Semua orang kakak. Ini kakak, itu kakak. Okay, so my next point. My next observation. I know I'm old. I'm getting to 40. Alright. Okay, ni. Orange accents. This is my second observation. This is a very subtle observation, but I think it's worthy of mention because there are a lot of history regarding this. Orange accents. Now, they use orange accents. Previously, if you look at their... Sorry ya. Sedap betul benda ni. Right, so to differentiate their cellular models, they have a red. Can you see the red? Just a red circle around the crown. Right, so that indicates that it is cellular. Right, it's not the GPS model only; it's a cellular model. Now, for the Ultras, they decided to go with orange. Okay, right. So for the crown, and also for what they call it as the action button. Action button, also orange. So it's not a color that is seamless with the design of the watch. It stands out. In fact, there is a name for this color. Ni ke bawah ni. It's called international orange. Okay, it's called international orange. Now, why the reason why they chose international orange? So there is a reason. There should be a reason why Apple decides to choose international orange. Okay. Now, so what is international orange? My good friends at Wikipedia. Okay, so international orange is used in aerospace. Okay. I went through the slides tapi tak tunjukkan korang gambar. Sorry. Okay, let's sorry. I didn't see what I'm doing. Yes, I was here. Okay, my second point is the orange. Okay, the orange accents. So for the Ultra, they decided to go with the orange on their crown. The circular orange in the crown, the circular accent, and on top of that, the action button. And again, Apple tried their very best to synchronize their colors, right? But for this, they decided to choose a color which is a bit more apparent, and decided with what they refer to. It's not they refer, they chose the international orange. So Wikipedia says the international orange is used, for example, in NASA's launch entry suits. It is used in certain planes and the Golden Gate Bridge. And there are other colors, other oranges. For example, here is a safety. They call it a safety orange. So this is the safety orange. Let me show you the safety orange. Safety orange. Now, when they shared about the safety orange, sorry, Diana, kita tengah mengumpat. Mengumpat tadi. Safety orange. Right. They mentioned the reason why safety orange is used in macam here. They used it in macam warning signs, in safety cones, right? So they say here, need. I like this statement. Okay, this part. They say safety orange is used to set objects apart from their surroundings, particularly in complementary contrast. Nanti we'll talk about contrasting colors. So particularly in complementary contrast to the azure color of the sky. So azure should be blue. Nanti complementary color kita discuss lah. So complementary, we look at the color wheel and then we look at complementary colors. So this is the reason. The reason why certain objects from spacesuits here, right? Even here in towers, okay, orange and white, And here we have warning signs, right? They choose orange is considered to be the most contrasting color, okay, the opposing color to azure, which is, I would say, blue. Now, so which is an interesting thing, meaning that if you look at the sky and then you have an orange, right, contrasting color, then the orange would, well, visually be more apparent. It would pop, right? There is contrast, and contrast creates more visibility. And I believe this should be the case in hand. Okay, I ulang the color case in hand. Right, with Apple when they chose orange, okay, for the accent colors, okay, the international orange, simply because maybe this watch is used outdoors, right, either by trekking, either when you're out on a marathon, or we'll discuss about this soon, diving, right, that the color orange, which is the color which is most apparent, most visible, right, most visible. I beg to differ. Okay, we'll discuss that. But maybe if you look at the context here, we are looking at orange in relations to the sky, in relations blue, which is generally one of the most apparent colors that we have. Colors that we indicate as the outdoors, right, is the most contrasting colors. Now, having said that, nak segue sekejap je. Okay, so there are a few things that we need to understand when you talk about colors and how you perceive colors, how colors are visible, right? So when we talk about watches, something referred to as legibility. Okay, legibility is the quality of being clear enough to read. Okay, so how clear your watch face is, right? If you look at the watch, you know just by glancing at it, you know what time is it. So the quality of to being clear enough to read. So there's legibility. Now for books, it's quite simple, right? You have black and white or off-white, and then text is black. So we talk about legibility. The most legible color combination is black and white. It's either black surface and white text, or vice versa. The most common, right? White, black on white, right? That is legibility. Visibility, on the other hand, okay, is the measure of the distance in which an object or light can be clearly discerned. So how can you see? So the further the object is from you, right, how can you discern? How can you see? Right? How can you, be able to look at it? Right? The further it goes. So when you talk about color, okay, so color legibility, tapi we talk about visibility. Which color? Okay, what color is most apparent the further you are from it? Okay, the further you are from it, you are still able to see the color. You are able to see the thing, because I think this watch is it, because people want you to see it. See, because if you are trekking, you are in the woods or in the forest, right? If it's easy for you to see, right? So we're talking about visibility. All right. So legibility and visibility. Now, why I bring this up is because I think the reason why Apple chose orange, because it's legible and visible on the watch. You tengok, you nampak. But let's talk about something interesting. Okay, let me share with you again. Cocak Diana dekat sini terus lah. I am a bit worried because I'm not sure if these articles are scientifically not just correct, but are they credible or not. But I'm just sharing random articles. So with regards to what is the most visible color to the eye, let's start dengan ni dulu. Okay, and you could track kita punya course of discussion here. But let's begin with this first. So the question is, yellow one of the most visible colors. They say human eyes most sensitively respond to green color. Okay, so let's put this. Let's jot this down. Kan jot down, make people tulisan kan kelas pun, right? Just take a mental note that according to science, one of the most sensitive colors that your eyes respond to, okay, we talk about visibility lah, okay, we talk about contrast, is green, peaking around 559 nanometers, right? So this so-called article says that, well, if you look at colors, what is the colors most visible in any circumstance, distance-wise, or any circumstance, they say it's green. Now, I'll put it at here first. I want to cakap balik pasal orange. Now, interestingly enough, historically, orange dive watches was a thing. Okay, yeah. So, Waalaikumsalam, PayU online. Ni ada. PayU punya level of watch collecting, I segan. I'm a bit ashamed and shy because he collects haute horology. Yeah. Mine Seiko je. Right, so sorry PU. Gurau je. Orange watches. Orange dive watches. Orange dive watches was a thing. It was what kind of, if you see, I used to own a orange Seiko Monster. Ada kat bawah sini tadi. Mana one of my one of the earliest watches I bought when I started collecting Seiko was an orange Seiko 5 Monster ni. I own this watch. Seiko Monster. I have the mini Monster yang kecilnya. Right? And you see a lot of dive watches, and there seems to be a trend. Now, if you want to find a particular watch which is the hallmark of orange watches, it's actually Doxa. Doxa. Okay? So Doxa popularized the orange dial for dive watches. So this is Doxa, right? Okay, and there is a Doxa. There is a history for Doxa when it comes to dive watches. I don't want to go through the history because we could, and it's interesting because you want to talk about dive watches. Okay, dive watches. So I'm wearing a dive watch. This is a dive watch, and SKX013 is a certified COS. No, it's not COS certified. It's ISO certified. ISO certified dive watch, SKX013. You could attribute to two things. Okay, dive watches. One, the Rolex and their oyster case. It's called oyster because it's a word that they develop or that they use to give an indication of waterproof or water resistant. Again, those two words are totally different. They don't mean the same. We're talking about that, right? Of how a watch is able to handle pressure. It's not just distance. So the distance has nothing to do much with watches. You say, 50 meters or 100 meters, right, or whatever it is. Right? It's not about how deep it could go. It's more how much pressure it could stand. Right? So if you go below like 50 meters, the pressure is so strong that the watch might explode. Okay, it's not that kalau you masuk 50 mm, air start masuk. It's not the case, right? So we need to understand a bit about water depth, right? Depth ratings of watches. It's about the pressure rather than how deep you could go in. So we could attribute to Rolex. As much as I said it before about Rolex, I'm not a person who hates Rolex. If you see my posts online regarding Rolex, it seems to be I am anti-Rolex. I'm not that. I appreciate the history. I appreciate the innovations. I just dislike their marketing and business means. Okay, their business practices of lately, and the prices that hold. If you want to buy one, you couldn't get one except for the grey market, and if you want to, you have to pay double or triple the price. I'm just anti that. I dislike that. But as a brand, as a company, you have to give it to them that they were one of the earliest watchmakers that pushed the boundaries of how a watch could go. And Rolex in the yesteryear, they were proper tool watches. They weren't luxury items. Right? They were affordable, relatively affordable, and people use them, wear them until they die. Okay, they would literally those watches are meant to last your life. You could scratch them, you could throw them. They are. Nowadays people baby their Rolexes. That's why again I just dislike the misconception regarding Rolex. Nevertheless, so one Rolex. Number two is the Blancpain 50 Fathoms. It's mentioned here, ni Blancpain 50 Fathoms. Right, so there is again an argument which is the first dive watch. Some say it's the Submariner, some say it's the Blancpain, some say others. I'm not going to go there. But in the midst of the Blancpain, semalam tu baru nampak 50 Fathoms. It's an underrated dive watch. It's a really underrated dive watch. Right? I haven't seen one in the flesh. I mean, someone wearing it, but I wish I could see one person wearing it, not just in stores. Right, so in the midst of the Blancpains and the 50 Fathoms and the Submariners or the Sea Dwellers, okay, and such, Doxa was quite. It was 1970s, around that time frame. They emerged, and what set Doxa apart from other dive watches was that they specialize in researching how to create the best dive watches. So their focus was dive watches. Today you could get a Doxa, good, I would say very good price range. I'm unsure about how the price range is, but I think it should be good. So they focus on that. So they did research. Okay, so they did research. So how to develop the best, and they created the Beast of Rice. Okay? That is the name of the bracelet. You could get aftermarket ones for Seiko Beads of Rice. I don't fancy it, but Doxa created the Beads of Rice. They innovated that type of bracelet. See, the more links they have, the stronger it gets, right? Nevertheless, I still prefer the Rolex Oyster bracelets. Now, so my point is, they did research. So one of the research that they did, okay, apart from the bracelet, the bezel, one of the things that they did was they did a research on the dial color. Okay, so this is the thing. They focus on dive watches. They did research in 1970s. Okay, what is the best color for a dive watch? Okay, not just aesthetically but practically. Meaning that if you were to dive with that watch, the further you dive, the color still is visible. There is a certain level of legibility and visibility. You could still see your dial. Okay, so what they did was they did a research. So they tried different colors and then they dive in the lake. So this is an article from Doxa. Okay, so this is just statement from their website. Okay, so in their website, okay, so you could go, so this is it. So the 1964, right? Project SUP. This is the project. Say it's a research. Let's make the best dive watch possible. So they set all the parameters. So what should we research on? What should we develop? Okay, what should we innovate? So size, substance, right? And this part is interesting. Okay, so they say, right? So previously, when you look at the 50 fathoms and the Submariners and the other dive watches, usually their dials are black. So they ask a simple question: does a black dial underwater make the most sense? To answer the question, the team engineers investigated the physics of light underwater. So this is part of research. Okay, so what they did was they sent divers. Divers were sent down to various depths in Lake Neuchâtel. This is in Switzerland. I think I butchered the pronunciation. Right. So divers were sent down to various depths in Lake Neuchâtel nearby, and practically, so ni Swiss punya tinggi lah. So they will also want to show, oh, we are Swiss, right? So it's nearby, sebelah je lake ni kan. We are Swiss company, we make Swiss watches. Swiss watches are the best, right? So nearby, our lake is just beside our house. Nevertheless, I hate that. I hate this. Okay, hate is a heavy word. I dislike the branding now. I think people now are more aware, right? Doesn't mean that you are Swiss made, you are a good watch. Contract, and this is in line what we discussed earlier. Doesn't mean it's expensive, it's a good watch. It's a nice watch. Doesn't mean it's from Switzerland, it's branded as Swiss made, it's a good watch. Dulu, now people are more aware, right? There are better watches elsewhere. Right? And practically, every color of the rainbow was tested. So this was the claim. Okay, so we wanted to test what is the most visible, right, color underwater, which still can absorb proper light, okay, and more visibility underwater. And they test every color on the rainbow. After countless divers, there was one clear winner for the range in the most sports divers operate, which is bright orange. So this was their research. So based upon their research, they concluded that bright orange is the most visible color underwater. And tadi we talk about green, right? We talk about, right, green is the most sensitive color. Now, but looking at their premise of their research, they claim that it is orange. So for underwater, so maybe so if you look at all the articles, we could say that, or the current articles that we have, green is maybe good, okay, in broad daylight, and let's take orange is good, for example, for the sky because of the contrast, and also underwater. So underwater, orange is a better color, more visible color as compared to, let's say, for example, green. Okay, I'm going to say at this point that this research is untrue. Okay, it's not scientifically proven. I was looking for articles that disprove Doxa. Now again, I'm not making the claim that this is misinformation, that their research is falsified, or this is merely marketing, whatever it is. But looking at research, looking at evidences, cek dalil kan. It's not orange. Orange is not the most visible color underwater. On land, maybe. Itu pun still speculative. Okay, let's be sciencey for a while, right? So let's let this article. This is again from New Wave Swim Boy. Right, so these are for swimmers, a website for swimmers. They say Fluo green is the most visible color for swimmers, triathletes, cyclists, and runners for road and waterway safety. Now, this is in line with what we discussed tadi. Oh, okay. No. I see the join that. I explained earlier that green. This seems to agree with that initial article that green is the most fluoro-green, especially. Okay, it's most visible color. In this case, for swimmers, triathletes. Now, the problem here, okay, if you want to be a bit more stringent and maybe a bit more pedantic, the question is about on water. Okay, it's not underwater. Okay, so still green is a more visible color. Okay, as compared to, orange. The first article proof is green, so this is another article supporting it. Okay, this doesn't answer the question because you're talking about underwater. Okay, let's look at another article. Now, this is colors underwater. Okay, this is interesting. Now, if you look at the chart here, right, so it speaks about color here referred to as color absorption. Okay, because as colors, so as you colors go underwater, okay, they say that here is that light underwater is the absorbed. So colors the colors are being, for lack of a better word here, and this is not being specific, the light is being absorbed by microscopic particles under the water. Okay, microscopic particles. Right? So certain colors absorb more, meaning they lose more color. Certain colors maintain and retain their colors. So if you look at the chart here, okay, at less than 50 feet, red, orange, okay, these two colors lose. Their colors are being absorbed quickly than other colors. As compared to, this is magenta or pink or purple, tak tahu apa ni color ni. Blue, green or yellow. Right? Means red and orange are the worst. So this is how it's supposed to look like. So if you look at the Coca-Cola can here, right? So at 0 feet it's red. So the further or the deeper you dive, the color loses. So when you're at 20 feet, then the red becomes grey. Similarly with orange, at 20 feet the orange becomes greyish. But what is interesting is blue still maintains the color. The sun-kissed blue here, the blue still maintains, proving this chart somewhat true. That blue keeps its color. It's not absorbed. Okay, so again, looking at the chart, it seems to be red and orange does not retain color well underwater. It's not visible. So the deeper you go, you won't see the color red anymore. It changes to a different color. Similarly with orange, the best colors underwater that maintain or retain the colors is green and blue. Now let's look at another. So this is an experiment done. This experiment is also interesting. Right, so I'm going to forward. Okay, so what they do is so this is the depth. So the one is just below the surface on the top. These are the original colors, and as they go deeper, you see how the colors, okay, lose their colors. The colors become they are being absorbed, okay, by the microparticles. Now, what is interesting here, okay, if you look at red, because the less colors red, it totally becomes a different color altogether. That is red. Orange becomes slightly lighter, right? Okay, but still orangey. Good. Now, black, brown, purple, and I say aqua or maybe turquoise, they all change to blue. Okay. Now, dark green loses color. Fluoro green, right? Still, even yellow becomes green. Now, what is interesting, I just wanted to state before I move on. I think people overlook magenta or pink. For me, it's very visible as compared to other colors. Now, as you proceed to the video towards the end, so 90 feet, this is 90 feet, right? Blue maintains, green retains, the ones that lose most color and it's not as visible. Orange still okay, red habis jadi blue, magenta becomes it becomes darker, much darker, right? Now, what I could, again, looking at this particular test or experiment, it seems that proving the initial article here that green and blue is maintained. Green and blue. It changes other colors, but the color maintains, right? It stays there. In fact, for me, again, going back with the article, the fluoro green is much more visible. Now, people tend to overlook magenta. I don't know why. I really do not know why. Right? I couldn't answer. I couldn't answer this question. Right? Red loses altogether. It loses, right? So, when you talk about, again, legibility and also visibility, it seems to be green. It's the most, I would say most visible color, as all other colors lose their color and they become either green or blue. Now another article. Okay. Now this particular article, okay, this is the point I wanted to highlight. Now this is interesting point. Colors with shorter wavelengths, like those on the blue and violet end of the spectrum, have more energy than colors with longer wavelengths. For example, red, right? Red. So there is a spectrum here, right? Shorter wavelengths, right? And this is longer wavelengths. So the article says that shorter wavelengths, okay, which is the blue and violet, right, have more energy, and with more energy. Hence, with the more energy, they retain more. And that's why loom is always blue. And that is true, like the blue or green. Very good observation there, but that's why it's either blue or green, because again, it's legible and it's visible, right? I have a loom. This loom is actually quite good. Loom on this the GMT 5KX has one of the best looms I've seen. Seiko loom is green. Okay, they are known for their Luma. I think it's called Luma Bright. Rolex. Rolex is Luma Bright. Right, Rolex is blue. Okay, and Rolex are known for right. It's tritium. No, it's not tritium. Tritium lama. Those are radiation. You know, there are stories like people. They were in the early 1980s when they applied loom. Loom was applied manually, and they were very radioactive. So there were stories where women, and women were the ones who, in back to 1970s, 1960s and 70s, when they applied loom on the hands of watches, right, to the point that they become disfigured. And there is a documentary on it. There was a documentary on it for women who put tritium. It was radioactive. So the radioactive creates that color, that bright loom. Okay, so yeah, that's why loom is always blue or green, because of this. So, more energy, the longer it retains the color. So colors with longer wavelengths, for example, right, red, has the lowest energy. In water, colors with lower energy such as red, oranges and yellows are filtered out quickly. Look at the colors again. Tritium gas, ball has tritium gas. Marathon, Marathon also have tritium gas. Marathon. Marathon punya loom cantik. So this is interesting, right? Reds, oranges and yellows. Look at again. My point is just the orange. So this is an expose of Doxa. Again, I don't say daylight. I'm not saying daylight. I'm just saying that science proves that orange is not the clearest or the most visible color underwater, right? So red, orange are filtered out quickly because blue and violet levels have more energy. They travel deeper through water. So at this point, we could conclude there are two strong colors for visibility. One is green, green, and number two is blue. Right? Orange is not that. Now, let's look at another article. This is what is the first color to disappear underwater and other sciencey questions. At what depths do different colors disappear? Red 4.5. And this is proven the shorter and longer wavelengths. So shorter wavelengths has lesser energy, hence they are clearly absorbed, right? And then longer terbalik. Longer has longer. Kena baca balik. Longer. Shorter wavelengths, more energy, retain more color. Longer wavelengths, weaker energy, they retain less color. So sama here. Orange 4.5, green 7.5, yellow 10 to 15, green 21 and 23. The reason why they're not mentioning blue, because for me it's like blue underwater. Again, I'm not looking underwater is any blue because it's going to be dark. That's the case. It's going to be dark. Blue and darkness, I think, does not have contrast. We haven't discussed about contrast. Contrast is very important. Let's discuss a bit about that. Right? Contrast. So for me, green. So it's going to prove article number 1. The first article I shared. Right? This first article says most visible color on water is green. The article initially, in the initial article we discussed about most sensitive is also green. So there seems to be I would say something which is consistent. Yes. Green sensitive to the eyes. Green clear on water. Green is also clear. They retain colors underwater. Right? Now we could put blue. Blue is proven again because of the shorter wavelengths, more energy. But again, blue underwater, dark and dark, there's less contrast. Green has more contrast. Right? So at this junction, I'm just going to make two conclusions. Okay, just two conclusions. One, most visible colors, either underwater, I'll say underwater for now, blue and orange. Sorry, blue and orange pula. Blue and green. Based upon all the articles that we read and then the scientific evidences proven. No orange at all. Okay, no orange at all. My first point. Second point, and this goes back to the article that we read. So is this, okay, this aku tunjuk tapi tak tunjuk ni barang. Is this a lie? Or is this a failed research? Or is this research it is not substantiated? Or is this research faulty? Okay, saying that they tried all the colors, they died with the for them is orange, or is just a marketing ploy so that they have, maybe back then there were no colored dials. So let's make a color which is popping, which is very clear, right? Which is, I think, most pleasant to people or has most contrast in daylight maybe, and they choose orange and they this is mystery yang tak boleh dijawab sampai sekarang. Okay, so I'm going to make this disclaimer. I'm not implying, connoting, indicating that Doxa is making a wrong research here. I'm just making points. I'm just sharing you facts. Tak aku kena saman. Boleh kena saman tak aku buat macam ni? Kalau video ni, is this public? This video public, tak kena saman kan? Kan tiba-tiba ada somebody then lawsuit, cease and desist ke? Or, right? Maybe defamatory punya case ke apa-apa, right? I hope not. I just wanted to, this is just an informational video, just wanted to share that whatever that Doxa is saying here with regards to their orange drivers is not substantiated by more accurate, okay, and proper research done with regards to colors which are more visible underwater. Wow. Now let's go back to Apple. Now Apple pula orange, right? So again, if again based upon research, it's still green, fluoro green, okay, or green. General fluoro green is the most sensitive color to the eye. It's more visible water underwater and should be the most visible water, right, in broad daylight. Now the reason why they choose orange, and this is again my understanding, okay, this is just again my way of explaining it, is it's contrasty. Okay, so any photographers here, kalau ada photographer or any visual artist, designers, digital designers should be familiar with the color wheel. So the color wheel. So there are different types of color combination, or referred to as color harmony. Okay, it's either complementary colors or monochromatic colors or analogous colors or triadic colors. So these are all color or tetradic colors, right? So this is called the science of color harmony. So what color combination is most aesthetic, and pleasing to the eye. So these are all the types of color harmonies or color combination, complementary and so on and so forth. Right? Monochromatic is quite clear. So it's between one color circle, right? So it's a different tone or different shade of the similar color, right? Analogous is colors adjacent to the color wheel, right? Triadic is three opposing colors. I wanted to just marketing strategy. Marketing for me clear. I said it's marketing. You said it, I'm gonna say it now. So I don't cakap so I can. It's marketing. Because I think orange is pleasing for me, based on the color combination. So if you look at the color combination here, right? So if you look at this is orange. Second skip, right? If you look at orange, okay, orange is opposing to blue, and I think I did a quick research. What is the most apparent or color which you see most naturally? Some say it's white, some say it's black, some say it's green. Nobody says blue. Blue is the most popular color. Based upon my research, my quick research, my unscientific research, blue is the most popular color. But the most color in nature, if you go out and see what is the most apparent color that you see outside, it's either black, white, or green. Green because of the nature, okay, because of agriculture, right? Black and white because it's just a combination of all colors. But and this is going by to what they say regarding the safety color international orange is simply because the sky is generally blue and this is what you see when you go out. Hence, the most complementary color is the opposite of blue. So this is blue. Opposite is none other than, see here, orange. And that is the reason why most again, going back to Apple or Doxa or other companies prefer orange because it is the most contrasting color that you see in our general life. When you go out, blue a lot, right? Then the most contrasting color based upon the color wheel, most complementary color, will give most contrast, is orange. Hence, they chose orange. So, Apple choosing orange not because it's most visible, but because visible is going to be green, but it is the most contrasting colors to what we have around us in our daily lives, right? One final thing, ni benda orange ni, geram tu lagu. So they have an orange band. They have an orange band. But their orange band is for the alpine. So alpine loop is for, I think, mountaineers, right? Alpinists. I have an alpinist, right? Alpinists. The trail is for marathon and runners, and then ocean band is for divers. So they have. I wished, and it would be a better video, right? I make more compelling video if they put alpine loop on the ocean band. Then I would have fun, a really fantastic day making this video, right? I could bash Apple right, left, and center. But they decide to use the alpine loop, so the orange color for alpine rather than the ocean. And I don't know why. I really do not know why. Yeah, alam, I don't know why. Yeah, just something I noticed, right? So the orange is used for alpine rather than the ocean band, which I wish would be better if the ocean band, if they did their research and know that orange is a popular color. I'm not saying the best color for dive watches, but it's one of the most popular colors for dive watches. If they've done their research, they've put ocean band with orange rather than the black or whatever color that they have here. Alright? So yeah, those are my 2 points. Those are my 2 observations. Pukul berapa ni? Aku dah berbual panjang. 8:11. Pukul berapa aku start ni? Dah berapa jam ni? Dah lama ke apa? Okay, I have one more section. And we're done. Lama ni. So long. I was just planning for 1 hour. Berapa orang masih stay? Dah 11 orang lagi. Korang boleh bertahan tengah buat benda lain nak tidur dah. Okay, last segment for our live stream. Q&A. I have one question. Where's the question? Mana question dia? Mana ni? Ada cakap orang dia tak nak cakap lagi dah. Cause ada sensitive information dekat dia question dia. Mana dia? Astaghfirullahalazim. Mana dia? Is the iPhone 14 worth buying? No. Skip. If you have an iPhone 13 or even 12, stick to it. The only 2 defining features are the dynamic island. Is the pinhole thingy on top of it, right? Macam yang pinhole kat atas ni, the notch is now a pin, so-called pin, and it's animated. That and the on-screen display, right? So and Android dah ada benda tu lama, right? So it's always on. Both people complain. The on-screen display, and then why do you ask? Because your phone lama, you can recontract je lah. Right. So if you ask me, I say no, because people complain that the on-screen display number 1 is too distracting. People are so used to that if you see their screen light up, they think there's a notification, but now it's always light up, so it kind of triggers people's anxiety. I've read that people do that. People say that. Number 2, it drains so much battery. It drains on the on display, the always on display for the iPhone 14 Pro. Drains so much energy. I think they are waiting for a software update. So there's first thing. So no point. Number 2 is the dynamic island is still gimmicky. A lot of glitch, a lot of bugs. And I don't think again it's practical to a point that you want to sell and also to buy because of that cosmetic software or that cosmetic feature. No, skip. Next year they're going to have an iPhone 15 Ultra. Based upon all the strongest news out there, they're going to have iPhone 15 Ultra. Better look for that. Tengok macam mana. Okay, question. Last yang kita gini lah. Thank you so much for those of you who stayed sampai sekarang. You don't have to, tak payah stay sangat. So the question dia, I have the question. Let's look at the question. Alright. Hope orang yang tanya tu masih ada lagi. So think they're here. Okay, So by the way, Ustaz, since you are kelakar berbual Ustaz kat sini. Since you are into Seiko watches, which watch should you recommend for ladies? I want to buy for myself since dah hit the 4 series. Alright, okay. I'll give hot take. I believe, my wife would disagree. I believe that there is no such thing as men's watches and women's watches or ladies' watches. Whatever that you like, wear. Alright. Preferences. The only issue is just preferences. Do you prefer chunky watches? Go. If you prefer dainty watches, go. There is a problem in marketing. There's one video. Okay, there's one video that is worth watching if you have the time. It's from Jenny L. This particular video. Here's why women don't like watches. It's a 17-minute video, meaning it's a good video. I always say if you have long videos, it's really good. Usually long videos are very good. Discuss about the history. So it's Jenny L. Jenny L discuss the history about not just, historically how watches come into being, but also how it is being marketed for women, right? So that there is the stigma and stereotype on how women watches should be. And that is how, again, watch brands, how they mold their marketing strategy and their brand strategy, product strategy around gender. Okay? So I just want to start with that. Okay, so there's such thing as lady watches, men watches. And men watches are similar. I mean, you do wear gold watches for men or even watches with diamonds or whatever it is. But it's okay for you to wear a small watch, a dainty watch. I mean, if you're familiar, pernah nampak kan? I just show you, if you Muhammad Ali kan, Muhammad Ali wear Seiko Tank'Seiko kan, see there, Muhammad Alu pula, Muhammad Ali. Okay, now what's wrong with my internet? Tank'Seiko Muhammad Ali. My internet pun dah tak nak menolong. Saya cakap dah lama sangat ya. Berhenti sudah. Point in case lagi dah kat 3 kali aku cakap benda tu. What I'm trying to say is that it's okay for men to wear small watches. It's fine. Okay? Now, but since you asked me specifically, I'll share with you 4 of my personal recommendations. 2 maybe slightly a bit more formal and 2 maybe casual. Right? And again, whenever I recommend, these are based upon watches that I have experiences with. I cannot recommend you things that I do not know. This is my take when I recommend something, especially for watches. Right? Or I've read extensively the research. The only big chunky watch I like is Michael Kors. But don't buy watch. Geram betul aku dengan kau. Michael Kors, don't. Right? Okay. No. They are tak apa. We'll talk about fashion watches next time. Okay, so the first one, I recommend so there are many variants of this. So the the SUP250 or A80. 250 is the guys. A80. So A80 is the guys. Sorry, is the men's, and this is the ladies. They call it the Seiko Tank. And there is a solar version. So this is the solar version. Maksudnya tak pakai battery. I mean, there is a battery, but you don't have to use any mechanical movements or automatic movements. You get the power, the power to power the watch from the sun. There is also a quartz alternative. Yang ni. This is the quartz alternative. Right, and it's relatively cheap. And as there are 2 tau kena check. There's one for men, there's one for women. Women's slightly smaller. Again, I'm just saying this because there's available options. Ni, SWR053. Amazon SG dia jual 137 je. This is quartz. So there's a quartz option, and quartz ada 3. I mean 2. They come in silver and they come in gold. Silver and gold. This is quartz. Or you can get this is the solar version. Right, sama. Seiko made a solar tank before Cartier made solar tank. Main belum. Yeah. Solar, but I mean, Cartier did one. They started, right? They just made a solar tank, right? They just come out with a solar. So Seiko did it first. I mean, you could argue, but Seiko copied Cartier punya design. Alright, we could argue regarding that. But first, I recommend this. So if you want a classic rectangular-ish, I would say dress watch, I would recommend ni yang first. Another is this is a new one, right? This is a new one. I recommend it because I bought this for my wife. So this is so yang ni, this is more to, so this is a Cartier tank inspired design. This is more of a Santos, Cartier Santos inspired time. And dia ada banyak, dia ada yang gold version here. There you see, ada silver and there's a green. And there's this, I think pinkish type. I recommend Seiko because of build quality. For the price that you pay, it would last longer than the Michael Kors. If you like the pink one, I don't know if you like the pink one. I thought it's too girly for you, so I chose the, ni Nakia punya. So this is the gold one. Oh, ni macam dekat apa, IG kan dia buat macam tangan-tangan macam ni kan. Okay, let me make it bigger. This is the one I bought for her. So this is the Cartier Santos. So I bought her the gold one yang bawah ni. I just changed the strap. So she has 3 straps. I bought for her 3 straps. Dia ada gold strap, she has the black with the gold buckle, and then the brown with the, dia tak nak pakai. Aku beli banyak kan strap, dia pakai ini juga. Dia cakap yang ni paling, I recommend this too. Why? Because the design. This is quartz, FYI. Dah macam tu lah. I don't know. Sorry, aku sama juga cara dia kan. Okay. Alright, so what do you mean I don't like girly things? Pink is, tak tahulah. I do not know you if you like this pink. I tak tahu. I saw the pink. I wanted to buy the pink initially. Ni cerita dia Sorry lah, I air my dirty laundry here. This is for her birthday. So I bought my watch. I wanted her to buy a proper watch. Right? Dia ada Michael Kors lah. All fashion watches. Everybody knows well. I despise and loathe fashion watches. For the price that you pay, you get, for price of one Daniel Wellington, you get 2 proper Seikos macam gini. Right? And they last. Okay. So I chose the pink one. Dah bayar. Then bila auntie tu nak resize, because it comes in bracelet. I tengok I fikir balik, is this too girly? Is it too, I said tak apalah. Then I get for her the gold one. And nampaknya macam I made the wrong mistake. You bought me the back account. Itu dulu. I don't know what to buy for you. Yeah. Why are we sharing this is like cerita family punya. Okay, so these are my two, I would say, formal, more. So the one is this one. Right, jadi you could check back the video, then check balik the benda tu. Yang problem dengan ni, this one is a bit difficult to get. This is the one. This is the one that I see. But this is the men's version. So the ladies version is smaller, substantially smaller. This is the male version. Right? So get the female version, smaller one. If you want, nak get male version pun tak apa. So 1 and 2, this is the formal. For the casual ones, I recommend this. The Exceline. Ni. The right. Buka pula. Janganlah buka. Nak tunjuk je. Ni kat normal ada jual. Exceline. Bit more not casual as much as the leather, but I have the male version, which is Dolce. This is the Dolce. Dolce is the male version. Kita nampak. So is this 33mm? This is smaller. I think I feel around 20 plus. Why I recommend this is the movement. The movement is an old movement used in the Grand Seiko. This is quartz. But the quartz movement is used in the prior Grand Seiko movement. So you get a movement that is used in the higher end Seiko watches. And this is around 400 plus. 357. Even below 500. All in below 500. So the movement, and meaning that I think the accuracy of this watch is, I think, plus or minus 1 second in 1 year or 5 years. Yeah, pre 9F. Yes, it's pre 9F, pre 9F. No, pre 9F. So you could read the details kat nomor watches ni tempat ni berhantu sikit. Apa sahajalah aku tunjuk tapi aku tak ni. Astaghfirullahalazim, lupa lagi. Ni. You could go to nomor ni tempat ni berhantu sikit ni. So this is the Exceline is the female smaller version. The Dolce, this is Dolce. Okay, the Dolce is the male version, and you could read the article. Okay, they say this is the same movement that is used in the prior 9F. I think should be pre-9F movement of grain Seiko. Quartz movement is accurate to plus or minus 1 second in how many years? It's accurate like crazy. Okay, so this is more formal. No, this is more casual. And last is this. Oh, this is my favorite. This is mechanical. Everybody should have a mechanical watch. Automatic. Should have an automatic watch. Tak mesti mechanical hand tak apa. As long as mesti tak ada battery. This is very casual. Right, very casual. It has a bit of a dive feel because of the bracelet. It's still quite small. You can say maybe it's a date just ala date just a bit. I hate those comparisons. Why do you make those comparisons? Just say it just has a date. Right? Good complication. Right? And tadi semua tak ada. Tak ada. It's automatic. Right? It has no batteries, right? And I believe everybody should at least own one automatic watch. And it's why I recommend, because I also bought my wife sama. This is the one. I always recommend. So this is the one because I also bought for my wife. So birthday dia belikan dia 2 jam. Because I hate her collection. I wanted to clear off. I told her, lama-lama buang lah, but dia nak simpan. I told her to buang. I just wanted to clear her collection. Wah, nice. Balik cik lah. Have to keep white up. That's the thing. People like it. Some people like it. There is a connection to it because you feel it, right? You have a intimate, close relationship with your watch that you wind whenever you need to, right? It's living. It's not robotic. Dia bukan macam Eric Harlan, just robotic. Orang bola tahu. It's something living and ticking on your hand. It has removing parts. It's a beautiful. You can see the rotor. Tak nampak lah. Susah nak tunjuk Right. So if you want a mechanical watch, Seiko modern, good dimension 33mm, 33 or 34, I would recommend this. Seiko Presage SRP. Ni. Aku tunjuk tapi tak ni. SRP 837J1. Ni semua kat Singapore boleh dapat. No no Japanese domestic models available in Singapore market. Just go dekat ni dekat Geylang pun ada jual. I bought this dekat yang Tanjung Katong. So ni dekat Tanjung Katong, yang ni online. But this is available. Carousel pun ada. Cantik kan? So nice. Look at this, so nice. Look at the dial is so nice. The dial is so nice. Yeah. I have the big one. This big pun is 33 tau. I want to give to my wife, but tak nak cakap besar. She likes really small watches. So these are the 4 watches I recommend lah. To the one yang tanya tadi. So just a quick recap. The Seiko Tank, the Seiko Santos, the Exceline, not the Dolce besar, Exceline, and then the everyday casual watch. I call it the Seiko Dejas. Okay, so if you want to check, just tengok balik video ni once it's uploaded on. It should be uploaded. I didn't record, so I cannot edit. I was supposed to record and then edit the audio. I don't want to edit the video, just the audio. But lupa nak becek record, so I'll just leave it as it is dulu lah. Right, so these are my 4 recommendations if you want a Seiko watch for your dah masuk 4 series dah 4 series dah masuk 4 series. So this is the question. So all of them are below 500, nothing more. Even yang tadi yang the Seiko Tank is just around $200. Even with macam with apa dia panggil, shipping is 240 or 230. That's why this statement doesn't hold water much now. But we used to say that Seiko value for money. You pay, you get more than what you pay for. It will last you a lifetime. That's why I always recommend Seiko. Cuma nowadays that statement doesn't hold water because they have really bad value proposition. Very bad. Very, very bad value proposition. They it's not overcharged lah. They're just trying to balance out their pricing strategy so that it's competitive. Okay, before this they were really affordable. really affordable. But now because of competition and inflation, so on and so forth, they wanted to be more competitive. They had to balance out their pricing strategy. So it seems to be, to me personally, pricey. Seiko watches today are pricey. But for the ones that I shared, inshallah, I think it's for value of money. Will last you a lifetime, inshallah. And alhamdulillah, I don't know what happened. The 11 jam 11:30 is almost 2 hours. It's not supposed to be 2 hours. It's not supposed to be 2 hours. It's supposed to be half an hour to 1 hour punya ni. Yeah, go on with days when Japanese is agreed. Yep, it's sub 600. This sub 033. Yeah, sub 033 is what, 400. Now if you go to the secondary market, it can go all the way up to 900 to 1000 lagi for the sub 033. Right, SKX, jangan cakap pasal SKX. Right, nowadays they are going for premium of 800. My brother pernah cari, right, the premium SKX 007 or 009. Right, they can go for a premium for $800 and then for an outdated movement. And if you want to go for the new 5KX, so I don't recommend. No hard legs, right? Hard legs, no screw down crown, and you call it so no worries, thank you. It's my pleasure, right? So Seiko used to be that, but now I don't think it's just you buy Seiko because you like it. You don't care much about the is it wrong to say that you buy it, don't care about the micro bands. So what's got micro bands? I'm micro bands. We could go through. I have always wanted. This is my honest statement. I always wanted to buy a micro band. Dan Henry has been on my radar. I've been looking at a lot of apa tu yang alamak, there are few. Kena check my phone. Tapi itulah. I'm currently tied to Seiko. Did you know? Okay, this is my story. I'll end with this. My story is when I reach 40, I'm going to collect Seikos until I reach 40. Okay, until I reach 40. So I'm going to close my Seiko collection. So I have my 30. So I collect in phases. I collect in decades. So when I was, let's say, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and then forward. So my 20 to 30 years, I have my collection ada. Stop. And then my now 30 to 40, Seikos all the way, almost done. I have 2 boxes. So I'm going to close. I'm going to sell some and then buy new ones just to make sure that I have a good collection. Then once 40 to 50, I'm looking at a different collection. And I tell you, it's not just for the sake of collection. For me, is when you look at the watches that I told a story before. My 30 to 40, so that box of watches is going to be inherited by, if Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala permits, my lineage. So there are stories from 30 to 40. That is the story of when I was 30 years old to 40. And my 40 to 50 collection, that is my story for 30 to 40. So, and my next collection from 40 to 50 is going to be different, right? And I'm going to look at different watches. I'm going to try to get different watches that I think is going to tengoklah macam mana. So that's it lah. Micro bands, insyaAllah. I'm not going to talk about watches every time. There are things that I want to watch. I'm going to discuss. It's not going to be. This is not a watch live stream. Kebetulan aja. But talk about my cats. Boleh. FP Jean. Terlampau upscale lah. Too bougie. FP Jean is a bit too bougie for me. Zelos boleh. Alright. Okay, thank you so much. Anyone who joined, thank you so much. Right. I tak tahu nak cakap apa. I really do not know what to say. I try my best to make it weekly. That's it. I just want to make it weekly. And it might not be watches, can just be anything. I just want to share. There are things that I find worthy or maybe of value, maybe of benefit to haram. Yep. The higher you get, the more haram the watches are. The more expensive the watches are, the more haram they become. I believe in that. So there's always we'll discuss about the law of diminishing value. Maybe next time we'll talk about the law of diminishing value. There's a certain amount that you can pay, and once you reach that particular amount, that's the best value you could get. Anything above that is just excessive. That is something that I think we could talk about So what is the best value for money if you reach that law of diminishing value? What are watches that falls under that particular category? And for me, it is the around $3,000 to $4,000. $3,000 to $4,000 is where you can get. It's enough. You don't have to go above 3,000 to 4,000 to get the best watches. Share about meal prep next time. I have to do I have to have a co-host. I have to bring my wife. She's going to talk about the meal prep. I cuma makan aja, Sabrina. The meal prep, I makan. Dia prepare benda yang sama untuk 4 hari, I makan. Alhamdulillah, kenyang. How to prepare, ni proses macam mana, simpan macam mana. That one you have to tell my wife. So that's why I have to have a different session with her, insyaAllah. Alright, anyways, if you have anything you want to suggest for the next live stream, please drop my Instagram. I should put my Instagram here dekat bawah ni lah. If you have any questions or anything you want to suggest, we'll meet next week, insyaAllah. Alright, so thank you so much. Nak habis dengan well, asli dah speak kafarah ni bukan kelas agama sangat kan. Macam okay, we could, I mean there's no such thing as secularism kan. Takkan nak baca wal asri as berkafarah untuk kelas agama kan. Majlis macam gini pun boleh baca, tapi bacalah sendiri dalam hati. Okay, tak payah nak baca ramai-ramai. I feel weird. Alright, so thank you so much to everyone who joined. Have a good night. I apologize, dah dekat 2 jam. It's 2 hours. I apologize, but I really appreciate those who stayed and those who commented, alright, and those who contributed and those who kept me company while I'm a baby. Thank you so much. I hope whatever I recommended was of benefit, and we hope to see you again, alright, online. Thank you so much, and with that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening and bye-bye everyone. Bye-bye. Apa gelap tiba-tiba. Salah pula aku ni. Bye everyone. Bye. Thank you Nakia. My wife temankan me hari ni. Thank you. Bye everyone. Bye. Waalaikumsalam. Bye.